Hello, my friends. I'm glad you are here. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders rest. Now, let's begin with a simple question. Have you ever wondered why people do careful things when someone dies? Today, it can look ordinary. A funeral, a burial, a visit to a grave, a short prayer, a shared meal. Many people follow these steps without thinking much about them. But long ago, these steps were not small. They were part of daily life. They helped people live together. They helped people stay calm when life felt unsafe. Long before cities, people lived close to the land. Many groups moved often. They followed animals. They searched for water. They looked for shelter from wind and rain. Life was not easy. A cut could become serious. Cold could be dangerous. A hunt could fail. A child could fall sick. An older person could become weak. When someone died, early people faced a real problem. A body cannot stay where people sleep. The smell grows. Insects come. Wild animals come. People also feel fear because death feels close. So the group needed to act, not later, soon. In a very early camp, the actions may have been simple. They moved the body away from the sleeping place. They chose a spot that was safer. They covered the body with earth or stones. Sometimes they used branches to cover the place. Sometimes they placed heavy rocks on top so animals could not dig. This work was hard. The ground might be hard. The night might be cold. One person could not always do it alone. So people helped each other. And when people do hard work together, they remember it. They remember the person. They remember the place. They remember the moment. Over time, groups began to choose burial places more carefully, not only because of safety, also because they wanted to return. A group might choose a quiet hill because it stays dry. A group might choose ground near a river because the path is familiar. A group might choose a place near a large tree because it is easy to find again. For people who moved often, this helped. If you bury someone in a place you can recognize, you can return later. You can walk the same path again. You see the same rocks. You see the same tree. You know you were in the right place. Slowly, the burial place becomes part of the group's routine. People may not say it out loud, but they feel it. This is where we stop. This is where we remember. When a group returns to the same burial place, something changes. A one-time action becomes a habit. A habit becomes a tradition. A tradition becomes part of the group's life. Then, in many regions, more people began to stay in one place. They found good water and good soil. They planted seeds. They kept animals close. They built homes that lasted longer than one season. In a settled village, death felt different because the village depended on daily work. In the morning, someone carried water. Someone ground grain. Someone fixed a roof. Someone watched children. Someone knew the seasons. When one person died, the next morning did not feel the same. One job was missing. One skill was missing. The village had to adjust. So rituals became more careful. People needed a clear moment to mark the change. They needed to share sadness. Then they needed to return to work again with a steadier mind. In a small ancient village, you can imagine the scene. A person dies inside a home made of wood, clay, or stone. Family members sit nearby. They do not speak much. They listen to the quiet. Someone brings water in a simple pot. Someone washes the person gently. Someone closes the eyes. Someone straightens the arms. It is a quiet kind of care. They might place clean cloth on the body. They might comb the hair. They might place the person on a woven mat. If the night is long, someone keeps a small fire nearby. The fire gives light. It keeps animals away. Outside, people prepare the burial place. The ground is hard work. You dig with simple tools. You move stones by hand. If the soil is rocky, it takes longer. If the ground is wet, it becomes heavy. Other people arrive while the grave is being prepared. They do not come to study anything. They come because the village is small. One loss touches everyone. They bring simple help. A little grain, a little cloth, a tool for digging. They do not bring much. They bring what they can. When the burial is ready, the village moves as a group. People walk slowly. Children watch quietly. Older people lean on sticks. A family member may carry something small that belonged to the person, a cup, a needle, a simple necklace. These things help the family remember the life that was there. After the burial, people often share food. People are tired. The family feels shaken. Food helps the body. Food also keeps people together for a while, so the family is not left alone. In this way, the ritual was not only about feelings, it was also about care and support. It was shared work. It was a clear moment that everyone could see. As villages grew into towns, these rituals traveled too. People moved. Sometimes the land became too dry. Sometimes there was danger. Sometimes people searched for work or new land. Sometimes people traveled to trade. When people move, they carry habits with them. They carry words. They carry ways of doing important things. Now, picture a trade path near a river. The sun goes down. Travelers stop for the night. One small group comes from the hills. Another comes from the flat land near the water. They do not know each other well, but the path is shared, and the night is long. They sit near the same fire, with a little space between them. Someone warms hands near the flame. Someone shares a piece of bread or dried food. Someone shows cloth, salt, or a simple tool to trade. They also talk, not loudly, quietly. A traveler may say, "In my village, we place stones on top of a grave." Another may say, "In my village, we bury deeper because animals dig here." A third may say, "In my village, we wash the body with water from the river." No one makes a big speech. They only share what they know. Over time, these small talks matter. People see what works. People see what feels respectful. Some habits stay the same. Some habits slowly change. In some places, the land itself changed the ritual. In a dry place, the ground is hard. Near the sea, the ground may be sandy. In a forest, animals are closer, so people adapt. They do what works in that place. As larger kingdoms and empires formed, death rituals changed again. This was not the same for everyone, but for important people, funerals often became large and public. When a leader died, many people watched closely. They watched who stood near the body. They watched who spoke first. They watched who gave orders. They watched because the next leader might be chosen soon. In a large city, the funeral of a powerful person could fill streets. Messengers might announce the death. Guards might keep order. Workers might build a special tomb. In front of everyone, the city could see who was important. And now we come to the harder chapter. We can speak about it gently, but we should not hide it. Not everyone received the same care in death. In many places, the burial showed a person's place in life. A rich family could pay workers to dig quickly. They could buy cloth. They could buy oil for lamps. They could feed guests for many days. They could place stones that lasted a long time. A poor family might struggle. They might dig the grave themselves after a full day of work. They might have little cloth. They might have little food to share. They might worry about being judged by others. So the ritual could do two things at once. It could bring comfort to a family, but it could also show differences in a clear way. Some families had more money. They could pay for help. They could buy cloth and oil. They could feed guests. Other families did not have those things. They still cared, but the work was heavier on them. They might dig late after a long day. They might share very little food because they had very little. So even in a quiet ritual, the village could see who had support and who had to carry it alone. In some places, death rituals also came with rules. For example, a village might say, only this person can wash the body, or only this family can choose the burial place. Sometimes a family also had to pay a small fee. It could be money, grain, or an animal. Sometimes rules helped. They kept the work organized. They helped keep things clean and safe. But rules could also feel heavy. A grieving family may not have the strength to argue. They may worry about what others will say. So they follow the rule even when it costs them time, food, or money. Still, people continued these rituals across generations because death kept coming, and people needed a way to stop for a moment so life could continue and people did not separate. Now let's move forward into the modern world. In the modern world, death often happens in a different place. Many people die in a hospital, not at home. After that, the family may not do each step with their own hands. Workers may wash and prepare the body. The family may sign papers and follow a set plan. The body may be moved by car to another building. Because cities are busy, there are time rules. This can feel clear and organized, but it can also feel more distant. In older village life, death was close to daily space and daily work. In modern life, it is often handled behind doors. And still, people try to remember in quiet ways. You can picture a modern home after a funeral. The room is quiet. Shoes sit near the door. A few chairs are left out. On a small table, there may be a photo, maybe a candle, maybe a simple flower. A family member sits nearby with a cup of tea. A phone vibrates once. A message arrives from someone far away. It says, "I am sorry. I remember them." Another person in the home reads the message out loud. No one answers quickly. They just listen. They nod. They breathe. Even in modern life, people still want a calm moment. They still want a shared moment. They still want to say, "This person was here." Across the long human story, these rituals changed little by little. In early camps, people covered the body to keep animals away and keep the sleeping place safe. Later, groups returned to certain burial places because they wanted to remember both the person and the place. In villages, death became a shared event because people depended on each other's help. As travel and trade grew, people carried these habits to new regions and small details slowly mixed. And in big cities with kings and leaders, funerals became public because many people wanted to see who would lead next. All of this happened through daily life, through work, through fear, through care, through the need to stay together. Now let's return to you, here, today. In your life, you may see death rituals as something quiet and familiar. Maybe you have attended a funeral. Maybe you have visited a grave. Maybe you have sat with a grieving family. Maybe you have seen people bring food, water, or clean cloth. Next time you see these moments, notice the same simple human idea inside them. Long ago, a small group stood in the cold near a fresh grave. Their hands were dirty from digging. Their faces were tired. Life was hard. But they still stopped. They still covered the body carefully. They still stood together for a while. In that pause, they were doing something important. They were protecting the group. They were sharing how hard it feels when someone is gone. They were showing that a person is not only a body that disappears. A person is part of the group's memory. And even now, in a modern world of machines and schedules, many people still need that pause. Not to make life dramatic, not to make it heavy, but to make it human. So take one more slow breath. Let the story rest inside you. Death rituals are not only about the end of life, they are also about how people learned to live together. For a very long time, humans moved, worked, and built new homes, and in every place, death still came. So people needed a calm way to stop for a moment. They needed a way to help the family. They needed a way to remember a person and not forget too quickly. That is why these rituals stayed. They changed shape, but they did not disappear. Even now, they are still here. Quiet, simple, human. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.